So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live stream with live peoples. It's recorded for Ustream.tv and also for YouTube for people to watch at their leisure. I'm working in Mythomorphia and I was inspired with my gouache, these vibrant reds and oranges and yellows for the flames. And then I got a bit stuck with the body, so I thought, well, I'll have a go in the peerless colours, and I really love those. So I thought they look really, really nice. And then I thought, well, the next thing to peerless are the Hydrus. These are little bottles of pure watercolor. And these are light fast. They are professional watercolors in a 50 ml, half a US fluid ounce. So there's quite a lot in there. So I thought, and I'm playing, if you play with them when they're wet, if you use them when they're wet, I normally use them from a dry palette, but I've put a fresh drop in the top of there. Most of that's dry, but I'm actually going to use them from wet, and they'll be very vibrant. And I'll zoom in, and we've got the same picture 3 times in this particular book. So I'm just going to move that off there. So I've put a drop of yellow Hansa, gamboge, yellow ochre, and then I've got brilliant cad red, deep red rose, then I had magenta, alizarin crimson, and then I've got quinacridone magenta, and then I've made a red over here because I wanted a more of a cad red than an orangey red, so it's just a little bit pinkier. And then I have phthalo blue and phthalo green here to mix together. I then have yellow Hansa and gamboge, cobalt blue and French ultramarine, and that makes me really bright greens. Yeah, they're fantastic, aren't they? So somebody mentioned earlier that they go grainy, but instantly mixed with water, they go back. As I say, it's very much like when you have you're mixing flour with your gravy mix. As long as you or a white sauce, as long as there's fat there, your flour will disintegrate. And as long as you mix, and I don't mean mixing for hours, but I mean, a few stirs, and they'll suddenly go from grainy back to watercolor, and then you let them dry. But I actually use them. I mean, I just use them dry normally. I've lost my light, a lot of my good light, because I have a poorly disabled butterfly in here somewhere who's got folded wings, so he can flutter but he can't fly. So luckily the head's at this side for the dragon, so I'll zoom in and we'll have a bit of a play with some very bright colours. And I've not played with these like this before, so it could be a complete disaster because I normally use them from dry. And they are very different when you use them wet. So I need to move things about a bit. But once these are dry, you just need that and a water brush. Now I am using a water brush, but I'm using it with a kitchen towel. I need to dry it. It's not like a baby wipe. This needs to be dried as much as possible. And I found that the more you bend the brush, the more you activate the water. So once I've got it like that, I just kind of get the end. And then that's as dry as I can possibly get. I think I'm going to do the lanterns first because the tiniest amount of colour on these is going to really activate this brush and I don't want to ruin it. So I made an orange over here. So it is going to be the tiniest, tiniest, tiniest touch almost a pinprick. I just have to refocus. I thought it should be okay, but it threw me out earlier, so if that's better. So we've got the tiniest amount of bright orange on there. And I'm going to start here and work across. Now that was quite dry, was that? So that's good. Sorry, quite pale. So that's very pale. So, but it's nearly dried already. There's just that tiny bit there. So that's how quickly they dry. Very, very, very dry as possible. I've put a little bit more on this time because I want it to be quite vibrant. But I'm hoping that this water brush will manipulate that around a bit, so I can have like a watercolor effect. And again, quite nice effect, not too bright. And it's because they're very well watered down. Normally they're a lot more vibrant than this, but I use them with a dry rigger. So I quite like those colours. And I think we'll have the top. I thought I'd stick with the same, roughly the same colours, so that we could see the difference. So the water in the brush makes a nice change. It gives them that little bit more watercolor effect. So I quite like that. And I'm sorry I covered chat up, which was silly. Oh, hi Judy, welcome to Bunny's Designs. Anybody else that's popping in? Just decided to play with the Hydrus today because somebody mentioned that they were kind of not sure about them. But this is how I play in a colour book. But my new series is going to be all about different things I use and why I use them like that. But I'm also going to go into demonstrate how they are supposed to be used. So acrylics will be on acrylic oil paper. Oils will be on oil paper. Gouache will be on watercolor paper and on mount board and card and all sorts of other things, because that's what they're designed for. They're not really designed to go in colour books. It's just I've chosen to do that. So I'm just going to put a touch of this red because I kind of like this red. It's still quite pinky, is that red actually? It is quite still a pinky red. So I thought, and the gouache. So I thought it would be good to see how the Hydrus is used as a professional watercolor. It's just a bit too. It's just a bit too pink for my liking. That I'm just going to tone that down a bit by putting orange over it. So actually that's made quite a nice orange, so I wonder if I could just kind of go here and kind of get a mix that's going to be the orangey red that I want. Now that's a really nice cad red, is that? So that tells me I need to put a smidging more orange into that one to make it a cad red. But it's quite nice to play and get these colours right. I don't want these pinky because the everything else is going to be a bit pinky, so I want them more on the orangey red side. I quite like those colours. And we could do, so if I go down here to this particular red, which is what we've been given as a cad red hue. Again, I think that's a bit too strong. So I may have to kind of go behind everything first and then start to come forward. There's always a way around, even if you can't kind of manipulate it on the paper, you can stop and go and come back. It's a really nice colour, is this? It could be a bark alert, apologies. So I quite like that. I think these want to be a bit darker, just a little bit darker. And I did make another red. I've made a couple of reds that I kind of liked. So you can build the colour up. Again, not so bad with a water brush. Oh, thank you, Kenny. Thank you. Well, I do like the other colours that I did on the other side, but I wanted to do Hydrus and the Peerless. So they're going to be about the same colours, but I will be using Phthalo Green and Phthalo Blue because they're my favourites for here. Having said that, I do have a purple here. So I'm going to do the other ones on the other side. And again, I like the fact that I think they're dry. Got to be a little bit careful because remember this back page and the front page cover is shiny. Um, so I've got to be careful because these are butterflies running around now. It wasn't before, but he's doing now. So shut that and I can do these here now. And so I had that orange. I can go a bit fast now because now I know what to expect. As I said, not used a water brush, but actually they give a really nice watercolor effect. Even with the Hydrus wet, normally they don't do that because they're so strong. You need a damp brush, but of course this one's they're behaving really well. And you can work that bit faster and that bit freer, and sometimes that's quite nice. So I've got a natural highlight if I want to keep it, or I can go the other way and have the highlight in the middle. Now I may just miss the whole lot, but and again it's fairly quick, so I like the fact it's quick. It's nice to do. It's an easy way to work. And it's still being creative because you're playing with a real nice watercolor. I think I said this was a bit too red. Yeah, it's a bit too pinky red, that, but I can tone that down. So I'm going to do them both the same. No, I did want that flame bright yellow, so I've got to be really careful. Now the peerless, if I touched one of them with the peerless, it was so vivid and it distorted the colour. So when I touched the yellow with the blue, it went instantly green, and there were some really nice greens, which I didn't know I had, but I didn't particularly want them there. So I'm going to go back into this one, and I'm going to see if I can make an orange. Again, I've got to be a bit careful. So that's a really nice orange. And it's a really fast way to work as well, so you're not kind of there's a lot of fiddly things on here, so you want to kind of get in there, and once you've established what's what. Now luckily I've done the dragon 3 times, so that's allowed me, so I'm just going to go over this with the, if I go over this with that very pale orange, it's going to make an orange. If I'd have gone over it with a yellow, it would have probably made a better one, but I've just got rid of that gaudy colour. But one thing I do have to do is to get all that orange out. I didn't waste very much. Oh, thank you, Suzanne. So we had, I think I had this red down here. Again, they are a little bit, so I can do this one. Now, this is a fine brush. One of the finest ones I've got, so I would think there aren't many fine ones, but this is the number 1 from Derwent, and it's quite a nice fine one. It's got some nice tails on there. Now I think I'm going to go with this colour and just do this. I don't want to really put another colour in there. And with the dragon, he's going to have enough red on him anyway, so I think. And then this is going to be strong enough to do that there. Get rid of that pink. I quite like those colours. I'd rather have it a reddy red than a pink. Don't really want too much pink in there. So I like that. Oh, I've missed one behind there, look. So it's got quite pale now, this red. But we can just follow that round. So we can dip in the orange. So thanks for stopping by, guys. Hope everybody's okay. I've made that bit of red, so I've still got that deep orange there, so that's quite nice. And I've got a bit of string or something, fluff. So I've got that tiny bit of orange. It's just going to do that. So apologies, there could be a bark alert. And then I think I did that one. And that one. So I think we'll just have a little bit more of that red in there. So I think that looks quite pretty. I'm just going to make that pink, I think, or darker orange at the top, I think. They match a bit better now. So that didn't work out so bad actually. I was worried about this water brush and these hydrus because I've never used them before like that, not wet. So I quite like that. I think these was slightly redder, but again not too red. But I did make these two here, so I'm desperate to use this one because I've made this one myself by putting a couple of drops of different ones together. So if we go around the outside first and then kind of go in the middle, you should have a natural highlight. And again in there first. Oh, I've just thought that would be a lovely colour for the flowers. So I might just turn that pink down. I don't know if I like the pink. I think I might just turn that down a bit and give it a bit more oomph. So if you add a cooler red to a pink, you get some really gorgeous colours that you probably wouldn't think of. There's so many reds, but add pink to a red and then add an orange to a pink and you get hundreds of different colours. It's a bit pinky, but yeah, it's fine. And then I think I'm going to use that one for the bottom there. And that one. Now there are some fronds there, but I don't know what it is. So I'm going to leave that. So that's almost dried, which again is quite nice. Working with a wet brush and it's dried, so I can open this up and I can do them on this side. Oh, we've only got those two. I've forgotten it's the wrong way around, isn't it? So let's have a look at these flames. We want get the dragon's head. Oops, I'll move it that way, see if that's any better. So we want some. I like oranges to yellows, but I haven't decided which yellow I want to use. So what we can use is the bright yellow. It's the very pale yellow. So I might put that one in first. Again, just a touch. Now I'm actually going to go up there because I know where I am. And I only know this because I've done it twice. I haven't done a lot of bodies, but I've done the heads on all three dragons. Two dragons. So I've got a good idea where I want my highlight flame to be, which is this very bright yellow. But I couldn't do that this fast if I hadn't have already done it around the corner. Not sure if that's a flame, so I'm leaving that. I think this is a flame. And that's a flame. And that's a flame. And I'm doing a little bit like the butterfly does. I'm just tipping the tip just into that liquid. And it's instantly sucking up enough colour to get me where I want to be. And these are all flames as well. So it's a really, really bright yellow, is that? Really bright. Very cold, almost printer yellow. Very, very bright. But I want to be able to touch that with a different colour and change it in places. So I want that to be very cold. Because it's not representing heat, it's representing light. It's the brightest yellow I can find. So I like the fact it's really fast. It's not giving me a watercolor effect because I'm using it almost neat. It's just that flow of liquid. This could almost be a green and yellow dragon actually. This yellow is on the greener side than on an orangey side. So I could be tempted to change my colour scheme. But that's what colouring does. That's what you change all the time. So even though I've done this dragon 3 times, I always meant it to be identical, but it just does not want to be identical. They're all vibrant, but they're all different. So thanks for stopping by, guys. I have to forgive me when I get going. I forget I forget what I'm doing, and I'm concentrating on colouring. Because I always say these are not complicated. You just have to concentrate. It's a bit like baking a cake. You know, if you don't concentrate, you're going to miss something out. And Christmas cakes are easy, but you've just got to remember every single thing. And this is very similar, but once you've done things once or twice, but if I'm not sure about a curl, I'm not going to colour it. I'll leave it because I don't want to muck it up. I want to make a good job of it. And that's why I want all the highlights where I would think the light would be. And I'm sure there's a few flames up here, but because I'm not 100% sure, I'm not going to put them in. I'm going to leave them. I am sure that that's a flame. And I'm sure that that's a flame. So I hope you can see just how vibrant this is. I think that's got a bit of a flame on there. This yellow Hansa is extremely, it's very cold. It's going to look very strange being on the end of a flame because it's the coldest yellow you can get. It's not a warm yellow. Oh, hi Mel, welcome to Bunny's Designs. Did you want to do this page now, Kenny? Well, I can only do it this way because I've I've done the flames 3 times, well, twice. This is the third time. But I've made mistakes on all of them because if you can't really go too fast, you've got to concentrate. And as I say, if I'm not sure what it is, it's not getting coloured in. You can always go back and colour it later if you can remember what colour you did. Says she. So just move the camera, whoopsie, very slightly. So I can just go that way and that way and that way. And then we've got quite a lot of flame going on here. And remember, the water brush is going to dilute this colour constantly. So if you want that vibrant yellow, you have to keep dipping in to maintain that very vibrant yellow. And my little butterfly is getting very anxious in there. So I may have to go put him outside in a minute. But I'm just frightened the cat will get him. So if you've got any questions, pop them in caps, guys. Thanks for stopping by. as I say, it doesn't really matter if you miss any. I'm just going to see if I can put that there. Because we can always pop back, we know which yellow it is. Just the nicest thing is that if you get these in, it's an easier thing to do. It's always best to try and get something coloured in that's big. Normally I use trees and leaves because picking those off sorts other things out, but now I actually think that could be a wave, but I think that's a wave. I don't know unless that's a flame under waves. Haven't worked out the flames and the waves yet. Really haven't, because I would think there's clouds up here. There's water spray and water vapor from down here, because I think we've got a fish somewhere. And yet we've got flames. So the different curls are different things. So again, I'm not sure what's going on down here, so I'm going to leave that. I do know that that yellow, that continues there as an arc. So I do know that I need to go behind that tree and come out there. Because the flames are kind of in a line all the way across. So they are under here. And I've actually used a whole drop of yellow. I've used a whole drop of yellow. That goes into a flame, I think. So, oh, and I want that to be very vibrant. Oops, sorry, it could be a bark alert. Alfie's just banged his head. Sorry. Don't go that way, Alfie. Oh, Alfie. Everything's gone. So I do need a tiny drop of Hansa yellow. So have you got any questions? So I'm going to put one drop on there. So I've used it. Again, I'm not sure what happens there. Oh, I'm going to follow it down here, look. So I need to move my camera a little bit, I'm afraid. Sorry about this. And we put that there. And round. Oh dear, sorry, the old dog's he's old, bless him. Oops, and again, I don't want to get too much of that yellow, because I certainly don't want to get it up inside the brush, because it's very vibrant. And I think that's yellow here. It's better, bear with me a second and I'll see if I can get back on. Hi, darling. Yes, please, darling. Oh, thank you, darling. I'll leave that black coffee there, darling. So I want that one and that one. And I want these quite yellow because I want a lot of vibrant colour. Sorry, just 2 seconds, my book's trapped, darling, please. Are you going outside? Will you do me a big favour? Would you butterfly sit, please? But you've got to watch him. because he's flying around out there, and he might want a bit of fresh air. So oh, just bear with me a second. Sorry guys, just having a play at that end there. So I'm not sure what. Oh yes, we've got some there. Look, you see, we've got some flames there. So we're just. And again, I'm not quite sure what's flame and what's not. I think that is there. And that one is. I'm trying just to put the tiniest tip into the brush, because being a wet brush, it's just sucking up the colour. And I really don't want to have that much colour on there. Again, I'm not sure what's water. I'm not sure what's going on there at all. So I'm going to leave that. There are some flames down here. And I know they're flames. And then that's a flame from the claw. So we can put that one in. And we know that these are flames. But I think that could be C. So sometimes you've got to leave things until you know exactly what they are. Right, so if we follow those flames around there, they go kind of round the back, and then they kind of come back round. So there's one there. Oopsie, sorry. Whoopsie. It's going to be bouncy. So I've got one there. I'm not sure if that's a petal. I think that one's a flame, but I think that's a petal. Again, sometimes you've just got to think, what do I want to make it? And then there seems to be some, I think that's water, but this is a flame. Thank you, darling. Oh, I can't lift that. It's too heavy, darling. Sorry. It's all right. Just pop it down there. It's fine. It's fine. Right. I need the space for the. Right. I need Amy to butterfly sit, please. I want to put him on the buddleia so he's got some fresh air. Although it looks a bit grim out there. But it's this warm light's making him flutter around a bit. I don't want him to feel trapped. So in case you missed earlier, we have a disabled butterfly as our latest decrepit thing. Anything that's broken or broken, anything that's broken, not all there. Yeah. So we have a butterfly and his wings are completely folded. And my daughter found him down the garden. She found him in the field, and of course the cat would have just eaten him. But he seems quite happy, except for now, because he wants to sit on my colour book. He wants to sit on my colour book. Oh yes, Kenny, that's only because I've just done three. Sorry, two. This is the third time. Again, if I'm not sure, I've left it. There's a lot I think could be flames, but I'm leaving it until I've got the dragon in, and then I'll go back. Because, as I say, it's a little bit like a Christmas cake. You look at the recipe and think, oh my goodness. But if you pick things off one at a time, it's not so bad. It's very easy. You've just got to kind of pick easy things. And I'm a bit of a coward. I like easy things. And I thought the easiest thing would be to pick the flames. So I've done the flames first on all the pages because it's just easier. No, no, it's fine. Just it's fine, darling. Thank you. Again, more flames, and I just really want the tips. But what's going to happen is when I hopefully put some orange in there, it's going to make, oh sorry, a red in there. It's going to make that really orangey, which will lead to our red flame. I might even try a carmine, see if I've got a carmine colour about, and then we can really get some really dark flames. Again, I'm getting to the point where I'm not sure if it's flame. I thought if my daughter was going to go sit outside in the sun, but it's not much sun, it's quite windy out there, but she could sit with the butterfly and just make sure he stayed on the tree. Because if he floats down to the ground, he will be toast. So again, I'm sure there's more in there. Um, I'm basically looking, if it looks like it's attached, then it's a flame. If it's something else, then it's not, and I think that's a flame. But if it's something like a swirl here, I think that could be water. So I'm going to leave it. But if it's actually coming out of the dragon, I've got it as a flame. And we're going to have a friend in a minute. So I think I've done as many as I can. And just pan out and you can see what I've done. So I've only gone this fast because I've done it before. That's the only reason I can go this fast, is because I've already done all this. I've sussed it out. So if you watch the first video, I think it takes me an hour to do the first bit. So this was the first one. I think it takes a good hour to get the yellow done. Although it's gouache, and because I've done this and then I've put the body in, I know there's bits missing. And then I thought I'd do the back page in the peerless when I wasn't very well. So we started that one. Oops, I'm sorry about the light, but there's a butterfly's pinched my light. So we've got this one, and again I thought I'd do some nice colours here. And again, you know, there are some that I've missed that I probably would have put in, but I'm following it all round behind there and then at the back. So it's basically along the back of his spine, but he twists. So as he twists, the flames kind of go round. So these should be flames under here, and then flames off there. So I've missed those flames off. So then, oopsie, and I did love those oranges, really like those oranges. And there's no mixing. And then of course we've got this one, which has just got those really bright, yes please darling, the tomato, the chicken one please darling, thank you. Yeah, I think it's fake chicken. um, I don't know if you can see that. So there's quite a lot of yellow, but by doing that, it's very similar to like doing the trees, doing the leaves. because we've picked out that particular one, I can then go back in there and get all those reds, do all the flames. That's going to then make the dragon stand out so that I can do the dragon. Then when I've done the dragon, I can see where the claws are. I can see the tree and the flowers. Then I can pick out, well, I think that would be sea, but then I think that's cloud. So when I get to here, I'll be able to see, well, that's a sea spray, but that's a cloud. And only by doing that, and can you work through these particular pages, because the same with the toadstools. I go through and I pick all the toadstools first because they're easy. Then I try to pick out the flowers first. It's just a really simple way to work. So here I've missed some flames off, but there is a fish on this one, so that's what made me think this was sea. Um, and like most Kerby Rosanes, I picked up all the flowers and the trees. Anything flora and fauna I tend to do first, purely because it's easy and I'm a chicken. So this one, I do all the leaves first. I wouldn't do the bark because I wouldn't think what was bark and what was leaf stem. So if I do all the leaves, I do the big leaves, and then I'll pick a colour that I want to go right through and do all the little leaves, and then I'll do the bark, and then I'll probably do him then morphing from these dark browns to fawns. Because sometimes when you look at something, you think, my goodness, but by the time you've got all these little leaves, you can see everything behind. But you can't do that when you first look at something. It's impossible. Um, but it's just like doing a Christmas cake. You pick the things you can see first, get those in, and then everything else stands behind. I don't know if anybody else works that way, but I just find that little bit easier. Oh, he's under there somewhere now. Where's he gone? Oh, he's here. He's here, look. He's here. He does not want to be in there. He wants to be on camera. But look at his little wings. And I've tried all sorts. I poked about all day yesterday and I thought, no, I better stop. He was quite happy, but his wings are folded in half. He's quite used to me poking his wings. I was doing it all day yesterday. You were quite used to it. Are you going to come back off there, please, now? Come on then. Thank you. Now where are you going? You're not going near the wet paint because that would be too much. Oopsie. You've just made a green. Now where are you going? You're not going to sit there. Look at his wing. Look at his wing. It's completely folded. Oh, you're basking, are you? He's actually folded them right back. He's never done that before. Are you basking? He really likes this this daylight lamp. But his antennae squashed, his eyes squashed. He's in a bad way. But I think he came out. He must have come out like that. He's quite used to me poking his wings. I was poking them. I thought if I could get something that would flick open, but they won't. They're well and truly, aren't they? Mm-hmm. Well, I do have a lot of Buddleias trees, but I think that um, yeah, my daughter's gonna have to go on butterfly thingy. But I must taste nice. Oh, I've forgotten about that. Bob it there, darling. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, darling. Did you have a nice lunch? Very good. So you think you're going to sit there and you're gonna colour, are you? You're going to be a colour butterfly. I don't think I can colour with a butterfly because I'm frightened of catching you. Well, I thought that but they're just kind of And believe me, he knows. We've poked, haven't we? I've been poking his wings, and he's quite used to me poking them, and I can't get them open. I've had a cocktail stick in, I've had tweezers and let go of them, and they just go back. You really cannot do anything with them. So we decided we would just be friends, didn't we? I look like I've got a ring on. Oh dear. It's not sunny out otherwise, but yesterday I was really poorly, but I did go outside and stand for about, I sat outside and I stood and took some photographs, and while I was standing I put him on the one of the buddleia trees. There's a lovely photograph of him if my camera will work. There is a lovely photograph of him. So you can't see him. But I took photographs of all the buddleia. I've just got tree buddleias. Um, where are you going now? No, you can't go far. Come here. You can't go far. So if I zoom in, I think he's down there. I think he's about there. Did you go back in? No, I went back in. So there's lots of butterflies all flying around, hundreds of them, and bees. I don't know if it'll pick it up. It might not pick up. Oh, it's gone dead. Hi, Miss Q. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. So there's butterflies and bees on these buddleias, and then on this little leaf here is the little brown butterfly. He was on that leaf, and he just stayed there. He fluttered down twice, but then he fell off. He fell off, and I kept putting him back. There he is. Look, there he is. You see him, and he just sat. If I zoom in a bit, oops, it's too much. If I zoom in and go up, oh dear, silly thing. You can see him, and he was wandering around the bush. He was wandering around the tree, having a whale of a time. But of course, the minute he fluttered down, he just drops. And all the other butterflies were coming up to him. It was quite funny, actually. They must have known. So I managed to get some quite nice photographs. So that's what I thought I'd do some some watercolor, oh, some color books with butterflies, because I have hundreds. And there he is again. Look, he didn't move far. He moved a little bit. But there were so many butterflies. But he just loves sitting there. And you won't believe where he is now. If I get the camera. Right, if I get the camera. And he's got up there himself. He's there, look. He's just got on the camera and he's basking right on the edge. You light your lamp, don't you? So he's quite lucky actually because it's miserable outside, so all the other butterflies will be hiding, but he's definitely poorly, bless him. But he's not going to live long, but it's better than the cat getting him. He's definitely been in the walls. Are you thirsty? I keep having to think he wants a drink. You gonna have a drink? Come on. Oh, sorry, you were on. Sorry. Come on then. Might have a drink. Oh, he's got his biboscus out now. He wants a drink. All right then. Yeah. You can't see. I can't move, but there's a drop of juice. There's a drop of juice hanging off the end of my finger. And he's got his biboscus and he's drinking. But I don't want to disturb him. But it's quite wonderful to watch. Oh, bless him, he was drinking. Come on. He's looking for it. Look, let's see if he'll do it. Look, he's drinking. Can you see? He's drink. Oops, what are you drinking? I know it's not. If it's not a drop, he doesn't like it. Come on then. He's got it. I mean, whenever he's eating, I always have this thing. If there's anything's eating, then I've got to feed him. So he's just had a drink of orange juice. So I have to feed him. So oh, just feed him watermelon. I don't have any watermelon. Yeah, if it's bent, broken, or if it's not well, then it's here. Ah, dear me. I'm all sticky with orange juice now. But he will have another drink. He's got a Satsuma, but he didn't like the real stuff. It's too strong for him. Go and have a drink then. I really want to shove it in your face. No, he only likes what he likes. He likes juice. Don't you? You're fussy. You're fussy. Oh, then. This is ridiculous. Goodness me. That's what he really wants, though. That's what he really wants. He wants me to sit there. Look. Now, if he puts his wings down flat, that means he's basking. Right, I've forgotten what I was doing. I was going to try and get an orange colour in there, wasn't I? I'm just so worried I forget about him. I will get some watermelon. Thank you, May. I didn't expect him to. Look, I've still got a drop of juice there. There's a drop of juice there, look. This happened to me about 5 or 6 years ago on my birthday. And this butterfly would not let go of me after I'd fed him, so. Yeah. Oh, I do love my butterflies. I'm not sure he'd sit down and behave himself, Suzanne, like you tell like you tell Alfie to. Right. But if I could just put him in there and didn't feed him, it would be cruel. But as long as he's feeding, I can't just stamp on him. I'll let the cat get him. We did that with Thumper, the disabled rabbit, and the vet said that he'd never seen an animal with such a severe disability come round to have nearly 6 years for a dwarf. Now, I think that's a flame, but I think the other one's not. Not quite sure about colouring with a butterfly on your finger. Oh, well, as long as that's okay then. Yeah. Wildlife on art. So because of all these butterflies, I think I'm going to have to try and do some kind of paintings with butterflies on them. I don't use the mouse because I'll crush him. So, I'm not sure what else to do. I'm not sure what to do because this is a really bright yellow. The next yellow is gamboge, which is a bit warmer than cad yellow. That's quite nice. But then we've got I made this red. I like this red. Oh, that's nice. But I'd like a carmine. So carmine is a bit of pink and a bit of, I would think, I'm going to go down there. But I need to make quite a lot because it's going to be the darkest bits. That's not going to work. And then we need a bit of, I think I put blue there, didn't I? If we optically mix, if you mix it on the page, oh, that's too blue. We need a darker blue then. Oh, we need a reddy red. We need a reddy red. That's quite nice. Oh, wonderful. I will try that because I know he doesn't like Buddleia. I know he doesn't like Buddleia. I'll send hubby out to buy a watermelon. That would be wonderful because I think the orange juice is too strong, but it was oopsie, where have we gone? Come back. Thank you. You stay on that finger, then you're not in the wind. Don't go on the paints for goodness sake. Yep, I like that burnt carmine. So that's going to be a bit pinky, that. I think I like that. It's difficult to concentrate when you've got a living thing on your finger. Really. Oh, wonderful. Yeah, well, we didn't have, they all kept saying about the Buddleias, but I used to work on the railways. And when the train drivers used to get off, of course, we weren't allowed to get off. But I used to give them a brown paper bag and say, "Can you just go pull all those fronds from that buddleia?" So my buddleias are what normally grow on the railway, and of course they're so vibrant and they're so strong because they're used to putting up with diesel and all sorts. But the fronds must be some of them 2 foot long. And I've let them go into trees, so we've got trees. We haven't got buddleia bushes, we've got buddleia trees. I would think it's the chemicals, yeah. And also in this country for horses, the yellow there's a yellow flower, wildflower, and everybody's pulling it up because it's poisonous to horses. And all the councils pulled it up, and it's the only flower that red admirals um, hatch on. I forgot what it's called, but it's bright yellow. It's a beautiful wildflower, but it's poisonous to horses. And of course, we've got horses next door. But what I say to Sue is, I take them up, but when the butterflies have hatched, we shall have to have a butterfly sanctuary. Sorry, I didn't mean to tap. I just wanted to put my finger down. I'm worried if, because he can fly a little bit, but if he flutters back, he'll end up with paint on him. Then he wouldn't be brown, then would you know? So I've got carmine. I don't know if that's a bit pink because I want to do I've decided he's going to be phthalo green and phthalo blue, so they're quite vibrant. So maybe a pink carmine would do with that yellow. We'll have to see. Where am I going to go? I do like this red though. I've made this red and I do like that one. Oh, maybe it is a bit pink. And let me have a look at that orange one. There might not be enough of that one left. So if I put that, I could just go with oranges. Oopsie, where are you going? I could just go with oranges. Where are you going? I think he wants his lamp. I think he wants his lamp. I hate to tell you, but you're in the dragon's mouth. Oh, I'll just do this little tail. before I forget. I just found that. So thanks guys for stopping by. It's rather strange because I say we've got, and he's moving, and it's puts you off when he's moving about. Don't go too far. It's like having a toddler again. You want them to be moving about, but come back. You want to go back to your lamp? Is that what you want, your lamp? I just have to see. He wants a drop. Whoopsie. Do you want a drink? Yep, his Biboscus is out. He wants a drink. Is it Biboscus, I think? Well, wait a minute then. You just fell off that wet finger, didn't you? It doesn't take much for him to... You can't do that. You can't stand on one and sit on the other because I need two hands. Thank you. There you go then. There. That's it. You got it. You got it. It's... Oh. He's definitely... A bit too strong for him. Sorry about this. But he has been in the sunlight a lot. Oh, come on then, if you want some. Honestly, the things we do for creatures. Have I got to put orange juice in my paintbrush? There you go. That's it. Look, when his foot touches water, he knows. There you go. You don't like that. Come on. No, it's been a sausage now. If you go in there, you can go and help yourself. Oh, that's mine. You go back in there. There you go back in there. I just dunk a leaf in water, and then if he wants just water. Right, just wash my hands because I've got orange juice everywhere now. So, have you got any questions? Oh, he's having a drink of water. I knew he was thirsty. Look, he's got his bib. You would be the one place where there's no water, wouldn't you? There, look. I know you want water. You've got water. Here, it's water. Well, put it on the leaf for you. No, you don't like wet feet, do you? Go on then. don't think you'll find any water down there. Come on. God, you have to have the patience of a saint with him. Anyway, he was drinking off the leaf, so I'll leave him in there. He was having a drink. Just put that over the top. And I'll send Hubby out for some watermelon. Thank you for that. Oh my goodness. Have you been drawing? Let's have a look. Can I show? Right. My other daughter, she's at uni, but she won't show her work. Yes, he was looking at the paintbrush, wasn't he? But it's not very clean water, otherwise I would. He was drinking off the leaf. But I never thought about a clean paintbrush. Right, I've got to decide what I'm going to do. I kind of like these colours, but I'm not sure if they're going to go with the teal and the green, so I think I might have to do the phthalo green and the phthalo blue first. So I think we're going to have a green belly. Or should we have a green back and a blue belly? I think we might have a green belly. We'll have a green back. So in here, I think there's a little bit of this green going on here. I've got a funny feeling this is going to be very vibrant. And possibly under here somewhere. So I wasn't sure how green I wanted everything, but I like this phthalo green. It's very kind of whimsical, but I kind of like it, but I'm not sure if it's dark enough. Yes, I have remembered, Kenny. Yes, I have. So thank you for joining me. This is a live show with live peoples, recorded for Ustream.tv and also for YouTube for people to watch at their leisure. It's a bit disruptive today. So thank you for reminding me, but yes, hopefully I am still recording. I might stop that bit of recording because it's come up to an hour. I suppose I could just do a little bit of his body. So I'm going to start. Oops, whoopsie. I'm just going to start a tiny bit of this blue again under here. I do like, sorry, bark alert. I do like this phthalo blue. I do like this phthalo blue. Even the butterfly jumped then. Oh my goodness me. I'll zoom in a bit just for a minute or so. If he doesn't shut up, we're going to have to... Oh, it was Peter. I thought he was talking to you. Right, so there we go. So we've got a bit of blue going on. I do like this phthalo blue. It's really nice. It's very strong though, but I think that might look quite nice if I can manage to get that to be thinned out by the time it's got to the bottom. Oops, I think there's far too much there, but have we got a darker bit somewhere? Let me have a look. Oh no, that's his tummy. Wait a minute. Tummy, tummy, tummy. Where's his tummy go? Let's have a look. Oh, I think I'm going to have to waste a bit. It's just going to be too strong, isn't it? I think I might want him to be a bit more vibrant than that, maybe, perhaps. Oh, that's a bit brighter. I think he needs to be a little bit brighter, does our dragon? Whoops. I didn't mix all of them, Jane. I mixed a couple of those reds. No, this is the phthalo blue and the phthalo green are straight out the bottle. They're straight out the bottle. And that's the green that I dropped, so there's hardly any left. Oh, sorry, I dropped, there's half a bottle left, but there's still tons and tons. But I did drop it. I think I like this a little bit darker. But it's because of the brush. It's because of the water brush. It's always going to be a bit tricky to get that gorgeous watercolor effect. I don't think I'm going to manage it really. But it would be nice to get some really nice rich colors. I'm not sure how easy it is with a water brush, because I don't normally play with a water brush, so it's the first time with the Hydrus, but it's okay. It's a colour brush. Yeah, they're very vibrant. I think they're very good for the price, although they're a bit pricey to start with, if that makes sense. But it's a bit like the Caran d'Ache. You know, it's very similar to the Caran d'Ache. You know, they're very well pigmented. And that's, but these are, if you go on the YouTube website, YouTube, and type in Hydrus watercolors, you should get some pretty amazing artists that, you know, really bright, vivid colors. And that's what I want to show, that they're not for wishy-washy watercolors like this. They are designed to be in-your-face colors. Just wanted to clean my brush. So I'm going to have to take my husband on a watermelon mission. Oh, bye, Kate. Thanks for stopping by. Um, Managed to get that all wet now, which was silly. I'm just going to do a bit of green down to here. Oopsie, I'll move that camera slightly back a bit. I'm just going to get down to here because I think I might work backwards. Now, if I remember rightly, last time I made a phthalo turquoise by mixing these two together, so I thought that might be quite fun. But I kind of like these greens, like these colours. But completely different to how I worked before. And I keep saying that, but of course it's so nice to find a new colour, a new way to work. Because if you did all your colour books the same, it would be so boring. So at least this way we can kind of have a bit of a bigger mixture going on. So I've got quite a lot on there, so I think we're going to have some green feet. And if you go on the inside, the darkest first, by the time you get paler and paler, you're going to have a real nice highlight. And then you can go back in there with dark because this bit's going to be very dark now. So really dark, and then again hopefully go to nothing so we've got a highlight. Yes, they are very vibrant, and I say that I really like the fact you can get some really dark kind of, but you can go in here, look, and we can lighten this because it's a pure watercolor, so I can take it up there, make that darker. Now you can only do this once it's dried because obviously too much water will wear your page away, but that was just that bit too much, and then in here wasn't dark enough. And then of course it's the same body but it's going that way, so you can either follow it round or you can just say, well, we're here, we might as well start this way and take that across. So thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope everybody's okay. It's a very strange day today, and my butterfly's hungry, I think. And these are still kind of watered down, but you can see how much you get used, and there was one drop in each of those when I put them out. I did mix a couple of them, but that should be on the first part of the video. So it looks like he's actually holding those flames, doesn't it? It's not. And again, it's just some nice, peaceful, quiet way. You don't have any water brushes. I mean, I do have water there if I want to mix, but I could just go sit with this. And if it dropped into the butterfly thing and there's a drop on there, the worst thing that can happen is these two mix together to make a green. They do look shiny, but they're tacky, but then they're dried. They're tacky. The drops are the drops you can see that are very wet. They're the drops. But they dry quite quickly, especially under all these lamps. So I think we've got phthalo green there. And again, I think dark, strong colour. Without doing very much, I've got a highlight. Oh, sorry, I was off camera. Apologies. I'm just short of space at the moment. I thought I would have finished this painting, but I haven't, so I've still got the pile of books. So I'll just pan out and I'll stop this particular one because you can see all the colours and really good fun. But I wanted to show, just how fairly quick it is. And they're dried. So that particular bit of tacky there is a sticky note. Now the sticky notes on the paper on the pages didn't stick, but the sticky notes on the back cover and the front cover made a bit of a residue. So every time I do this, I can feel it, but you can only just see it a little bit. So I think this is going to be probably the brightest one. I thought the other one was going to be bright, but I think this is going to be fairly bright. And that phthalo green is probably not going to come out. It's going to take a lot of water to get rid of that. I may have to use a little bit of soap. I've got some brush cleaning soap here. I think I might just use a little bit of that. Again, I've never done that before, but I just want to get rid of that phthalo green. And it was not coming out. Nope. It's going to be fine. It's not going to come out at all, but it has made it a tiny bit green. So they're the Hydrus. Thank you for watching.